What's going on, everybody? This is the R2J Detroit Sports Podcast with myself, Ryan Shearer, Ryan Schaefer, and Joe Olis. We got a fun show for you today. We're going to go over some Pistons basketball, some college hoops in the state of Michigan, and some NFL picks for you on this wild card weekend for NFL football. Like I said, I'm here with Joe Olis and Ryan. And let's see, can you guys, what do I do here? Joe, unmute, man. There we go. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? Ryan, we'll start with you. Good. All right, so we're going to dive right into it here. So first thing is first, we're going to talk about the Detroit Pistons. They won last night. A rare win, 110-105 against the Suns in Phoenix. Did you guys watch that game? Ryan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. I think that was probably the best performance the Pistons have had all year. Saw a lot of good things, especially in the second half and down the stretch into OT. A lot of good things from Jeremy Grant. I think he had 31 points. And then Sadiq Bey, loved seeing him hit some clutch shots there at the end. So
yeah,
a lot of good stuff coming out of that game last night.
Oh, yeah. How about you, Joe?
Yeah, no, they looked pretty good last night. Like you said, Jeremy Grant, pretty much the main catalyst there. But I don't know how I feel about it. I like the tank so far. But I guess I'll take a few wins here and there. It's funny too. I think it's the Celtics and the Phoenix Suns. Those are the only two wins.
Yeah,
good
exactly.
Teams.
Good teams. So that's wild. I mean, I didn't see all the game last night, but from what I've heard, Sadiq is the person that I think he's like a sleeper pick right now. And Jeremy Grant's been going off, but I just don't like what I'm seeing out of Blake Griffin. He's just slow this year, man. I mean,
he's made out of glass.
Yeah, exactly. He's made out of glass.
He's fragile.
Yeah,
he's.
I think when he's out on the court, there it's a net negative for the most part.
Oh yeah,
Blake's got to get his. He's got to get his
shot selection, especially.
Yeah, his shots. What is he? He just gets the pass on the 3-point line and just backs in the whole time. That's all he does. He just backs down his defender.
Yep.
And then
or just pulls up.
Yeah, his
he
shot
needs to be
is
on like a better team.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then we had some other news early this week, that Killian Hayes, rookie first-round draft pick, he is out with a labral tear in his hip. I'm pretty sure that's indefinitely. So this stinks, right? I mean, first-round pick, and he's out probably for the season. So it's kind of a waste, I guess, in the development process, because the Pistons are so bad this year and you're not going to have your rookie out there. But what have you guys seen from Killian so far? Do you like him, or do you think he's a bust? Ryan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so again, pretty sad that he's going to miss the whole season potentially. Obviously not great. But yeah, just watching him, I haven't seen a whole lot of promising play thus far.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has potential. Obviously, he has the skill. He's a good passer, and if he can kind of so far, I am a little regretful that the Pistons took him over the other point guard option, Tyrese Halliburton. So we'll see. The good thing is, though, like we said, a lot of the other rookies and young guys on the team are showing up and showing out. So this is why you can never really hitch your wagon to one key piece. So we'll see how the other guys develop, hopefully, and stay injury-free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joe, what do you got to say about it?
I like him so far. Shots aren't falling, and he is making some – he's a rookie, though. It's going to happen. But so far, I think the way he moves, he's very athletic. You can tell the moves. He's got bounce, too. He can glide. He's got all the skills that he needs. He just needs to put them together. I think I'm not ready to say he's a bust yet, because I think he could still be good. Because, I mean, if you remember Ben Simmons, he was out for his entire rookie year.
That's true.
I mean, he's nothing like Ben Simmons from what I've seen, but anything can happen. I do like Killian. It does kind of suck that he's hurt right now, but it is what it is. Some rookies just aren't built for it their first year, so it's tough. You can't really give them that much playing time when they get hurt. It's gonna wear
Yeah.
them down.
Yeah,
These are 18-year-olds going up against grown men.
Yeah, you got 18-year-olds playing 35-year-old guys. It's crazy.
I know.
All right. So like we're talking about Killian here, we have the Pistons stats so far this season, including their game last night against the Suns. So before Killian got hurt, he was averaging a cool 4.6 points. He's playing. So when I look at his minutes, 21.1 minutes per game, and then you look at Derrick Rose. So you put Killian in that starting role, but Derrick Rose is getting the majority of the minutes, by the end of the game. But looking at this roster, it's a total different roster than we had last year here in Detroit. Who do you guys like on this roster this year? Some sleepers that you didn't think were going to be good, or some people that you're like, oh, I don't know why we got this guy?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with the positives first.
Yeah.
I was not the happiest camper when I heard the news about the Mason Plumlee signer, but he's actually pleasantly surprised me with his kind of playing the role as kind of the floor general when he's out there and kind of guiding the young guys and putting them in good positions and good cuts. He's had some nice passes and assists, so I'd like to see that. And then the other vet that I was pleasantly surprised with so far, especially last night, is DeLon Wright. He played pretty well last night, moving it without the ball a lot, which opens up opportunities for the young guys. So I think Troy Weaver actually made two really great signings there. I know he caught a lot of heat for that, so we'll see how it goes the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I liked on the positive side. And then in terms of negatives, I think we kind of touched on this already with Blake Griffin, but he is just a shell of his former self and really needs to kind of accept that. I don't know if he has yet. I think he's still a great leader to have on the team in terms of morale and mentoring these young guys, but in terms of actual play, it's been horrendous. So he needs to kind of swallow his pride, I think, and accept his role as more of a leader as opposed to somebody who's going to go out there every night and put up big numbers.
Yeah. How about you, Joe?
So obviously, I really like Grant and Jackson, and I like them for this reason that if we keep tanking like we are now and we get those top picks, they would be perfect role players. If those top picks, say, if Killian or if our future first-round pick, if they start to go off or something, they would be the perfect role guys. And I think it's huge that you have them playing in such a bigger role now, like on such a on a terrible team, because I mean now they know what it's like to be a bench player and a role player, and they know what it's like to be a star.
Yeah.
So I can kind of relate more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why we got Okafor. I don't really like that. I thought that was kind of random.
Yeah.
And same with here, those kind of random signings, but we're tanking, so I can respect that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's going to take, looking at the roster, it's going to take a long time before we're competitive again. I'm talking like Eastern Conference champions, champions. But yeah, no, it's going to take a minute. But I think this is a good start.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good start. I'm really liking Josh Jackson. He was a high first-round pick when he was a rookie. He got drafted by the Suns, I believe, right, boys? I think it was the Suns.
Yep.
And
third overall, I believe.
Yeah, third overall, and he just couldn't find his role, couldn't find his niche in Phoenix. And, he had some off-the-court issues as well. And, he's a Detroit boy, so he's back home. And he's performing. I mean, we're seeing it right here. He's averaging 14 points in 23 minutes. I think that's great off the bench, or I guess starting. He's been starting before he got his little ankle injury, but he's back now. But I think he is a sleeper on this team and could really, make something happen here. Hopefully in the long run, we could hold on to him. Because he's still really young. I think he's only like 23. So I think and he's home. I think he likes being a Piston, so that's good news. And then, like Joe said, Jeremy Grant has been a great player so far this season. I was a little skeptical of him in the preseason. He wasn't performing well at all, and we paid him big bucks. So I was like, wow, like I hope this isn't for the whole season he's like that, but that's what the preseason's for. And he's been up there. He's been top tier this whole season so far. Someone I'm not too sure of is Sekou. I don't know. I think that's just because of his minutes so far. And I don't know what's going on between him and Casey. I think it's a good relationship. But that's the question mark for me, at least. He's only in the game 12 minutes. And you can't get a lot of scoring opportunities in 12 minutes, right? He's got to work, I think, just on his defensive part of his game. And if they see glimpses of him on the defensive side of the ball, he'll get more playing time. I think maybe that's what Casey's thinking. I don't know. But, I hope he pans out. But, yeah, the Pistons are, they're 2-7 now, right? I think we got the Eastern Conference standings here. So they are looking at 2-7. So looking at these standings, we have Sixers 1, Pacers 2, Celtics 3, Magic 4. The Knicks has been a surprise this season, I think, at 5. RJ Barrett's been balling. Same with Randall, man.
Randall has.
Oh my!
Randall and Grant are going to be going at it for most improved player if they both keep it up like this.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree with that.
Honestly, I think Randall has the edge just based on how the team's doing right now.
Yeah, I'd put Christian Wood in that category too for most improved.
No doubt.
Yeah, and then we have Bucks at 6, Cavs 7, Nets 8. So you see Detroit here at the bottom of the list with Washington, which I think that's very surprising that Washington's started off so poorly. With adding Russ to the group, and Beal's been balling out, but just they can't get the wins. But looking at these standings, what's your biggest surprise so far as far as teams go? I know it's early, but
I'd probably. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I kind of switched up the order there. My bad. But
come on, man.
I think I would say Brooklyn, but KD and Kyrie just never play, so I'm just gonna leave that out of there. I'll go with the Cavs. They're my biggest surprise.
Okay.
I think Colin Sexton's done really well.
Yeah, he's been.
Sorry, was I lagging out there?
What's that?
Was I lagging out there?
Oh no, I think you're good.
Could you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, no, Cavs been the biggest surprise. I think Sexton's really good. Drummond. He was horrible in their last game. I forget who they were missing. I think he was like the main catalyst, but I think he's a good role player. I think he's a solid role player for what the Cavs have, because they got some players. They have Garland, Chidi Osman, and then who am I missing? Oh,
dude,
Kevin Love.
Yeah, I feel bad for Osman, man. He's been there through for some years now.
Yeah,
he was with LeBron.
He knows what it's like to get to the finals.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess you're right there. That's crazy. All right, Ryan, who you got?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by the Magic up there at number 4. Like to see that. They do have a good young core. They got Markel Fultz and then a couple other young guys. So I think in a couple years they could maybe be middle of the pack contender like you see right now in the standings. I know they got some devastating news this week though with Markel Fultz tearing his ACL. So I assume that means he's done for this season. So they're probably going to fall back quite a bit. but that was definitely interesting to me to see them that high.
Yeah. And for me, I'm just going to say it again, the New York Knicks, it's going to be fun watching basketball in New York City this season because you got the Nets and then you just got the Knicks out of nowhere. Like we've said, RJ Barrett and Randall have been really going at it and putting up some big numbers here in the start of the season. And then Brooklyn, they started off so hot. I mean, they were just blowing everyone out. And, KD, he's got to miss what? I think he has to miss the next 4 games because of COVID protocol. So I don't know if, they could win some games without him. I'm sure they can. I think their bench is probably the best bench in basketball this season as far as, like, rotations go. But, yeah, the Knicks for me, I really want to see the Knicks in the playoffs. I think that'd be sick because I don't remember the last time. I guess with Melo was the last time the Knicks were in the playoffs. And so I'm going Knicks there. And then so we have our Project Pistons. So we have a rebuilding project here in Detroit. And Ryan, do you want to start off? What's your projections for the team as far as wins go this season?
Yeah, so I think by the end of the season they'll have roughly 13 wins, maybe give or take 1 or 2. I think they've played a ton of super close games. I mean, every game pretty much they've played, besides a few blowouts, the Bucks have really gone deep into the fourth quarter. So I think if they can learn how to finish these tight games, they'll pick up their pace a little bit and finish off with a cool 13 wins.
13
I think
wins, yeah.
that will most likely put them in position to have the best number 1 pick odds as well. So that's the main goal, I guess.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Joe?
Yeah, I agree with Ryan. I have them like right around 15 wins, something like that. I mean, there's not a whole lot to like look forward to. They do have, I mean, they have some exciting players, but I mean, for the most part, when I'm watching games, I'm just like, oh my god,
Really?
I can't watch this anymore. I mean, I still watch them.
Yeah.
But it's just that. But yeah, no, I have 15 wins. Yeah, I'm really expecting them to get the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Or top 3 at least.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting you say, like, it's hard to watch. I mean, you said they have some, some players that you like watching, but I think of like the last, I don't know, from like when we got Iverson, like after that when we had like Stuckey and Jerebko and all those guys, and then as of late, like the past 2 seasons, I think have just been terrible to watch compared to this season. I could stand the competitive losses. This season, I think, what's that?
Especially because they're young.
Exactly, right? There's room to grow, and I just like watching them, just kind of mold into their role. And I think it's, I'm excited to watch every game, even though I think there's a stat line out. It's like all of their losses have been by 10 points or fewer, except for that one of the Milwaukee games. So I guess like 6 of their losses have been within 10 points and fewer. And I think, that's called a competitive loss. And I could deal with that, because we're probably going to be up there in the lottery this year after this season. I have the Pistons going 18-54. It's kind of a high number, but, from what we've seen so far, they find a way to beat the good teams, and there's a lot of good teams in the NBA this season. There's not really any really, really terrible teams, except I would put the Pistons in that category. We'll see what the Wizards do, but, it's early on in the season.
And I think the Hornets,
What's that?
Okay, last night. The Hornets, too.
Oh, yeah, the Hornets. Yeah, so there's, in years past, there's been maybe 4 to 6 really bad teams, but this year I feel like they're all, they could all contend. So I got them winning 18 games. It's going to be, hard to find, but I got some trust in these guys, I hope. I don't know. So we got Ryan Schaefer, 13 wins, Joe Schaefer 13, Joe 15. I got 18. So that's going to wrap up the Pistons segment. Up next, we have Big Ten basketball battle of the Mitten States. So what are we talking about? We're talking about Michigan Wolverines and the Michigan State Spartans. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's going on here? Oh, man. Goodness gracious. Here we go. All right, Michigan State. Michigan is coming into the day at 10-0 and 5-0 in Big Ten play. And then we got Sparty on the other side, who just took a embarrassing loss to Purdue last night. I think they were up 4 points with 15 seconds left and found a way to lose the game.
They got screwed. I will say that.
Yeah, by the refs. There were some bad calls late.
Rocket Watts, I think it was. Yeah, dude,
I don't know. I mean, but you can blame the refs, but you gotta find a way to win that game.
Well, yeah, I agree.
It is a combo of things, in my opinion.
And you see, they had a timeout left with 6 seconds left, and Izzo just said, let's play, right? And I don't know if that was the best decision, but I think Izzo's kind of – I don't know what's going on in his head right now.
Yeah.
But it's not
looking good. Is he on the hot seat?
Yeah. Is he on the hot seat? I don't know. Probably not, because guy's a legend. But, yeah, I mean –
he doesn't have Cassius or Tillman anymore.
Yeah, this is kind of like – so Michigan State basketball, right, they were projected to be really good. And I kind of compare this to Michigan football this year about how they're starting so far. They're 2-4 in Big Ten play, and that's kind of what Michigan football was kind of like this year. But that's a hard place to be if you're Michigan State, because this Big Ten conference is crazy this year, right?
But they still are capable of knocking off any team in the Big Ten. Michigan State, they still got, because what they did to Rutgers is pretty crazy. They destroyed Rutgers. I think it was like 68-45. Their defense when I think Henry had been so they had lost 3 straight, right? It was to Minnesota Northwestern, and then who was the third one? Minnesota Northwestern.
I think I got it somewhere here. We got
Wisconsin, right?
Here we go.
Yep,
So we got
Wisconsin.
Here. Let me move this over here. Oh, not over there. Jeez. Sorry, guys. First time Zoomer. Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean.
All right. Yeah, there we go. So that's
Aaron Henry. I think he's starting to pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, this. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say this Big Ten schedule is grueling, and anybody can beat anybody on any given night. So it's just going to be a mental game of staying engaged.
Yeah, and you look at who Michigan State has up. They don't play until next Thursday. They play number 5 Iowa, who's been looking like a great team. I mean, Garza, man, he can play. And it's crazy that Iowa always has these competitive teams, man. I mean, it's crazy, I think. And but what's that coach over there, McCaffrey? Is that his name?
Sam McCaffrey.
Yeah, man. He knows how to coach. Let's put it that way. And I think they're a good team to be a number 1 seed this year in the tournament if we make it that far. But yeah, I mean, you look at the Northwestern loss, Wisconsin. So, you have the Wolverines on the other side who are winning these big games, right? They're 10-0. They've just been balling out, and their big win, their last game against Minnesota. I know Ryan and I were watching that game. Joe, you were watching that game too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, it was like there wasn't even a match going on. I mean, Hunter Dickinson went off. You had Isaiah Livers dunking the ball all over the place, and their defense. I think they're up for probably top 3 defenses in the country.
Yeah, one guy I really like actually on this team is Eli Brooks. I think he is just the sneakiest player on this
point guard, right?
squad. His
starting point guard.
Yeah. He's a shooting guard.
Okay.
But I mean, his ups are I think if you guys watch the Northwestern Western game.
Yeah.
There was an alley-oop or whatever. I had
That
never
that little
think that
man's
was,
throwing down?
oh yeah, easily.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
that, man.
Yeah,
Off it.
he's nuts. Yeah, I was gonna mention him as well. I mean, the improvement from last season to this season has been crazy. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know
no,
what
I'm a big
Jawan has been
fan.
doing with him, but yeah, I mean, I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't even think he starts either. Joe, he's more of like a sixth man.
I think
It does, maybe he does. I might be wrong.
I think he does. Yeah, no, he does. I'll check.
But yeah, I think the crazy thing too, looking at the schedule and scores, is the past two games, the scores are blowouts just looking at them, but
Yeah.
that doesn't even tell you the whole story because they took their starters out probably around 4 minutes left in each game,
Mm-hmm.
and put in a bunch of freshmen. So if they left in their starters, you're looking at potentially a 30, 35 point blowout, which is
Oh,
nuts.
man.
So if they can keep this up, they're going to be scary.
Yeah.
And I love to see it. So
What year is this for Juwan Howard? It's 3?
two.
2. Oh, this is only
Two.
his second year. All right. So what do you
Yeah.
guys like from him so far? I mean, it's Beeline was a great coach. I think Beeline was, a good coach. Didn't pan out, for the Cavs, sadly. But he knew how to reach out to younger players and whatnot and recruit. What do you think Howard brings to the table as far as coaching?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is just being able to lead these guys as a team. I know Michigan says the team, right? But that's really true with this basketball team. Nobody on that team has any big ego, or at least it hasn't been apparent. Everybody just wants to play their hardest on defense and get the dub. They're not caring about their stat lines after the game. And the guys on the team look like they're having a blast if you watch them on the sideline. Even they're going crazy after big dunks and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just having a lot of fun with the team. And obviously that's easier said when they're winning. So we'll see how they adjust after their first loss. But I just love to see them having a good time and playing loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love Jawan so far. I think the way also he's using Franz Wagner is perfect. Franz, it looks like he could be a top 15 pick right now.
So is he starting or is he off the bench? He's off the bench, right? Oh, he's starting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he serves.
Yeah, that's right.
I would call him probably the best player on the team. He doesn't. If deflections were a stat, I think he would have the most deflections in college basketball history. But he's been going off. I love the way the way he's been using these guys. Like with Beeline, we were kind of we were a set team. Like we had to get in our sets. It wasn't like we are now. We're run and go. It's get the ball and go.
Yeah,
and I love that.
Yeah,
that's how all the good teams. That's how the teams, like the Dukes, the Kansas, that's what they do. Get it and go. And I love how we're kind of used to that style.
Yeah, that's a good point. And he brings. Obviously, he was an alumni there, part of the Fab Five. So, I mean, I'm sure he just loves being at the university. I feel like that's what Harbaugh was like when he first got the job at Michigan. He just loved being there, loved being back. And, he brings that energy every game. And, he's not that old, right? I mean, he could relate to these college players too, since he's been in their shoes on the same frickin' campus, right? So I think that's a plus. And was he assistant on the Heat, right? I think assistant coach on the Heat.
Yeah, he's
so
assistant
I mean, he's
for a while.
been in the NBA, so he knows how to get. He knows what NBA teams are looking for, and hopefully, they could get some draft picks out of U of M. So I think it's going to end up good. Looking at their next game, it's in a few days against Wisconsin. They haven't played Wisconsin yet. This is their first time playing them. What do you guys think about this one? This is going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah, I think it's probably their toughest test yet. I think they'll get the job done, especially it looks like they're playing at home and they've been excellent at home thus far. So that's been one advantage that they have had. So I think they'll get a win in a close game. But excited to watch this one and see the boys play again.
Oh, yeah.
I think they'll win too. I don't think So I don't think Wisconsin I don't think they're number 8. I don't think they're that good, but they're definitely still a team that can sneak up on you at any given night if you're off and be just like any Big Ten team. So it's going to be it will be a tough game, but I expect them to win. I don't think they have anyone that can contain Hunter Dickinson down there, and that's going to be really key for Michigan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then they play Minnesota, and they just played them on Wednesday. So we'll see if Minnesota plays a better ball game next Saturday against the Wolverines.
They were supposed to play today, weren't they?
Minnesota?
No, Michigan was.
Michigan was supposed to play Penn State today, yeah.
And Penn State had some issues probably then, I'm guessing?
Yeah, COVID.
Okay. Dang.
Add in one more prediction as well. I think we haven't seen much in terms of huge games from Isaiah Livers, really the team's senior leader this year. So I think he'll go off against Wisconsin. Breakout game for him this season, hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be fun to see. I had a buddy, my neighbor. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
I like the shots. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, go ahead. Hello. All right.
You froze up there. I had no clue.
Oh, jeez. I got to get better Wi-Fi connection down here.
But no, I like when it's I know you sound like a robot. Is that? Oh, it says your internet connection is unstable. Maybe that was mine or yours. I don't know. But anyways, Livers. I like the shots he takes. I like his pull-up jumpers. A lot of the times, they don't go in a lot, but I like the shot he's taking. He's taking and he's making NBA shots.
Yeah.
So I think he struggled in Big Ten play, but from what I saw from the non-conference play, he looked really nice. I think he's really well.
Yeah, I had my neighbor up at Western. Livers is from where do you go? Kalamazoo Central, and
Kalamazoo, yeah.
Yeah. He went to K Central, and my buddy grew up in the town over, and he had to guard him for like 3 years when they played each other. So he said it was just a nightmare. But yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, he was Mr. Basketball.
Yeah, Mr. Basketball for the state of Michigan. So we're looking at Sparty here. We kind of already talked about it. This embarrassing loss to Purdue. I think Purdue's a pretty good team. They got some big guys. They got that 7'4", not rookie, freshman.
That guy just needs to figure out how to play basketball.
Yeah. He's got to figure out how to run, man. He's got some problems. He's got to work on his motor skills a little bit, but yeah, one way to say it. But and then they got that Stefanik, I think, that number 55.
Yeah,
he's a sharpshooter, but like we talked about before, they should have won this game. It was right in their hands. With 15 seconds left on the clock, and they found a way to lose. But they did beat Rutgers on Tuesday. That was impressive by, 23 points? Rutgers 15? Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were that good.
Yeah, no, they're good.
Okay. Yeah, and then like you said,
but they are good.
Yeah, and then Sparty plays Iowa this Thursday, so I think that's going to be a blowout, quite frankly. If Michigan State, if they can't find what they're looking for in practice this week, that's going to be a tough game. But that's just me.
Yeah, we'll see. Anything can happen, right? We've seen that this season already. So, Izzo's going to be all over them in practice this week, even though I would argue the blame falls on him as well. So, but he's a legend. I'd go have them ready. I don't think it'll get embarrassing. It might be kind of out of hand for them, but I don't think it'll get too bad. But hopefully they put up a good fight.
Yeah, that's all I got for state. We'll see what happens this week against Iowa. All right, so now we have the standings. You can see Michigan State's 2-4. They're at the bottom quadrant, I guess I could say.
Oh,
There's but like Joe said, you were saying that, they still have a chance, right? I mean, all of these teams
yeah,
can play,
yeah.
right?
State's honestly, realistically, I think State is the fifth best team in the Big Ten.
Fifth best
I
team.
think, yeah,
Interesting.
I think they're
Okay.
better than Northwestern and Minnesota, even though they got destroyed by both teams.
And Rutgers, bro,
I
they
still
just
think
lost to all three.
they beat Rutgers.
They beat Rutgers.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin, even Wisconsin. I guarantee you, if they play, because now Aaron Henry has found his confidence. He's been doing really good. If they play one of those two teams again, I think they have Minnesota coming up. I might be mistaken. I can't remember. But I think they'll beat Minnesota and Northwestern again, and even Wisconsin. So I do think they're up there.
Okay.
Even though
so can you guys say that, Michigan's probably gonna win the regular season title? You think?
I wouldn't jump to that conclusion just yet.
Is that a safe bet?
I don't think so.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, they still got a lot of tough games ahead, and like I think I mentioned before, they've played a lot of these tough games at home already, so they're gonna have a pretty tough road schedule as well. I think, and I think I might be wrong on this, but I think most of the times the home teams have been favored and been winning more often than the away teams this season. Seems to play a factor even without the crowd. Interesting enough, but yeah, they got a long ways to go. I think. Not a long ways, but they gotta keep playing at the level that they are.
Yeah.
They can't afford to cruise.
Illinois is going to be tough. Because they have that Kofi Coburn. That's another.
Yep.
Hunter Dickinson. They got really athletic guards. I think Iowa was averaging like 17, 18 a game. Tim Frazier, he's a knockdown shooter, and they got depth too. And then Iowa. Like I think you were talking about, and they got weapons on weapons. They have Jordan Bohannon, and they got Joe Eastman.
Yeah. Sharpshooter.
Yeah, and then I think both of McCaffrey's sons on the team.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, Joe Toussaint's really good.
Yeah.
So I think Michigan right now I finish top three.
Top three. Yeah, I think that's a safe prediction. All right, so we are done with the Big Ten now. We are going to do this segment called Baller or Bust. So I'll kind of explain it. It's going to be a random Detroit team. And then it's going to be the last 5 first-round draft picks. And we're just going to we're going to each have our turn, and we're going to say, are they a baller or are they a bust so far? All right? So today we are going to look at the Detroit Lions over the past 5 years. I was going to make it 10 years, but that was a lot of players, and some of them aren't even on the team anymore, so I just said, okay, whatever. So we're looking at the last 5 first-round draft picks for the Lions. So we're going to start it off with 2020. We got Sir Jeffrey Okudah, round 1, pick 3 from the Ohio State University. Baller or bust, Ryan?
Obviously, we didn't get to see much of him this year with his injury, unfortunately. Go ahead and just based on his play at OSU and I think his skill set, I'll say he's a baller. I guess I'll add that I don't love picking a safety or a defensive end early in the draft, but we'll see. So baller.
Good point. Joe? Joe is frozen, man.
You can probably go ahead.
All right. I'm going to talk Jeff Okudah. I'm going to say I agree with you, Ryan. I would not have liked this high draft pick, to be a secondary player because it's too hard, I think, for whoever's making these decisions to really evaluate them, especially Joe's gone, especially in in college, because it's such a faster game in the NFL. And I think, they should have saved this pick, not necessarily Jeff Okuda, but some other secondary player, for a later draft pick. I mean, they could have got a second rounder probably, and it would have been just, because, there's no certainty with secondary players coming out of college. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I hope he does well, and I hope he, finds himself here in the NFL. But for right now, I got him as a bust. Joe just texted me. Let's see what he says. It's my connection that's awful, not yours. All right. I'm going to say, can he try to rejoin maybe? Is that a thing?
Yeah, he should be able to. Or you can probably call in for audio as well. Yeah. I think one big issue with drafting someone like Okuda that high as well is just a DB, even if you have the best DB in the league, that only makes your team marginally better, in my opinion. I mean, just in terms of impact by position, a DB can shut down one receiver, right? So, I mean, that could potentially change the game quite a bit, but just still not as much as some of the more high impact skill positions, in my opinion. So,
yeah,
interesting choice.
Yeah, and this picture was taken, when they played the Packers that first game, and he got exposed all day long. But like I said, I hope it works out, because I don't think he's going anywhere. For at least a couple, whatever his contract is. I don't know what the rookie contract
probably
is. 3
4 years, maybe.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years. So hopefully he gets that injury taken care of, and we could see him, get some interceptions. He did have a few bright spots this season, but I think he just really has to work on man-to-man coverage, with these fast receivers in the league. So we'll see how he does next year, and, we hope him all the best with his injury and everything recovering. All right, 2019, we got TJ Hawkinson, tight end out of Iowa, pick 8 in the first round. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, this is obviously the most no-brainer pick for me as a baller. I mean, he's played exceptionally well this season, Pro Bowler, I believe. Pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Baller, bright spot on the wins in a pretty dismal season.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you there. Total baller. I think he led the team in reception touchdowns this season, and I think total receptions. I didn't like how Patricia, or I guess I don't know if it was Bevel or Patricia, but I think they'd use him more. I think it'd be better for the team if they made some plays for him, whether that's you see those tight end shovel passes, or and he's a good run blocker, so he's the total package. And I think, some people compare him to, God, what's his name? Tony Gonzalez and all these, famous tight ends. But, obviously it's early to, say that. But I think he's going to find a home here, and hopefully we could stay with him and he stays healthy for years to come, right? So,
yeah.
TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, I mean, one thing too, he's the type of guy. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I was just gonna say, guys like him, a player like this is kind of the guy. If you're a contender looking to win the Super Bowl, this is a player that can take you that extra mile, I think, and get you there and be kind of a difference maker.
So hopefully we can stay.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be. Hopefully the Lions can utilize him like that.
Yeah. All right. We got a text from Joe. He is inbound. He says something's wrong with his connection. So we'll chill on this slide for a second, because I know he likes this kid out of Iowa. What's up, Joe? Welcome back, man. What's going on, brother? He's still frozen. Joe. He's mugging us.
You guys hear me?
Oh, yeah. What's up, man?
All right.
You back from the dead?
Yeah.
All right. So we were talking about 2020. All right. Well, we'll start with the 2020 for you, Joe. Jeff Okuda, baller or bust so far?
Yeah. I agreed with Ryan for the most part. I think he is a baller, but like based off his what he did. I mean, he played pretty bad this season, but he's young. It's going to happen. I think he's going to be great.
Okay, and then we got TJ Hawkinson here. Me and Ryan already said baller alert. So what do you got for us?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna hop that train with you guys. He looks really good. I mean, he looks more like a wide receiver almost. His build, even he's not like necessarily a tight end build.
Yeah.
No, I think that was a good pick for us. I mean, he was. What did we get him at? Was it
pick 8?
Like the 10th,
eighth pick.
8. Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's right there.
Yeah.
But, no, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, all right, next up, we got 2018. Let's see who it is. It is Frank Ragnow, center, first-round pick 20 out of SEC Arkansas. Baller or bust? Schaefer.
Yeah, I think he's been a murderer in a tank. I think he had a fractured like vocal cord or something this season and played through that.
He's
been a good leader to have. Yeah. So I'll give him baller status. Again, I don't know if I love taking a center in the first round, but he has played well, so can't complain too much.
Yeah, no, I like that pick. I'm gonna say baller because he it's a better film than who was it? Glasgow? Was he the old one?
Oh, geez, man. He was slow. He was slow.
So, yeah, I think I know. It's an upgrade for sure. I like it. I'm going to say baller as well.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you guys here. Definitely a baller. I think he's a captain now, actually, on this team. So, his leadership qualities are there. And, the Lions line, looking back in the last 2-3 years, hasn't been the greatest. We see, Stafford back there fighting for his life. But, it takes time, especially with the new group of linemen, to get used to each other, to get used to, the schemes and everything like that and blocking assignments. So I'm going to say baller. And, I hope he grows as a player. He is a pretty young player. And hopefully we could keep him next Dominic Raiola. All right, 2017, we got, I believe, that's a good picture of him. Gerard Davis, pick 21 out of Florida. I think that's Ezekiel Elliott beating him from the backfield. Backfield wheel route, probably, I got to guess. What do we think about him?
Yeah, this one is a no doubt bust for me. He's been pretty abysmal his whole tenure with the Lions. I don't even know what his status is because I think this was the last year on his contract, or maybe next year is, and I haven't heard anything about an extension or anything like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that he'll be with Detroit much longer. So, bust, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him. His first year, he showed some pretty good flashes. I was like, okay, I'm not the biggest critic on this pick. I kind of like him, but
yeah,
he hasn't done much other than that. It's a bust for me.
Yeah,
can't trust those guys from Florida.
Yeah, and we see him getting beat here on the backfield wheel route. He can't cover, man. I mean, he's lackadaisical in zone defense. I think that's what really hurts him. He can't play zone defense. And he doesn't know where any of the players are. I think his peripheral vision is not the greatest, because as a linebacker, right, you're supposed to, check your first reads the pulling guard or whatever, and then the running back. And on pass plays, when you're playing pass coverage, he doesn't know where any of these guys at. And then when you think he's going to have a good play, a big play, tackle for a loss, he can't wrap up. He's probably one of the worst players at wrapping up I've seen in 3 or 4 years on this Lions team. He can't wrap up. And that's why the Lions' run defense, I think, is so poor this year, is just because they've had so many, blown tackles. They engage contact. They try to get them at the shoe tips, and they just can't wrap up. So he's a bust for me, big time. 16. We have Taylor Decker. We got the big boy scoring a touchdown here. Offensive tackle. Also out of Ohio State, like Jeff Okuda, but we got him at 16 this time. Baller or bust, Ryan?
Yeah, I honestly haven't watched him enough to maybe even make a decision. I'll give him an honorary baller, I guess. I haven't heard too many bad things about him. I mean, the Lions' run game has looked fairly promising, so you got to attribute some of that to the O-line. So, yeah, I don't have too many complaints about him. I think he brings a lot of energy to the team, from what I've seen, too, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. He's a baller for me, too. I think he's our best offensive lineman.
Is he
Without
left tackle?
Without a doubt, honestly.
Is he left tackle?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Baller.
Yeah.
You see big boy scoring a touchdown, so he also has some quickness on the edge there to the pulling, on the counters and stuff. So I'm gonna say baller. 2016. So he's been in the league for a few years now, and the average career for a lineman, man, it's like what, 3 years tops, 3 or 4 years, I think, an average. Just because they're taking blows every which way. So hopefully we could have him for a couple more years, 3 years. But he is definitely a baller. So
now that you're Jeff, remember Jeff Backus?
Yes, Jeff Backus. Yep. He was also a first-round pick. I saw him on a list here.
He was in the league for a while.
Well, dude, Raiola, I think, was in it for 16, man. I think Raiola was in it.
That's right.
Dude, he was a dinosaur. I don't understand that. Hopefully he's all right. Hopefully he's doing okay, and he doesn't have any injuries, because that's tough on the body. Yeah, hopefully all is well with him. He was a legend. I think he had a record with Detroit too, with like consecutive starting games or something like that, I remember. So, he never really had injuries, and he would always play. So yeah, that's a good center from the past there. So like I said in the start of the show, it is wild card weekend, so we're going to get our picks in for the 2-day weekend here. So the first game we got today, which is Saturday, we have the Bills and the Colts. This is going to be at Bills Stadium in Orchard Park, so a home game for the Bills against I think a really good Colts team. They were battling out with the Titans for the division title there. But we're going to start with you, Ryan. Who do you got here?
Yeah. So I'll take the Bills for a few reasons. First off, they've just been playing super hot lately, undefeated since the Hail Murray against the Cardinals back in whatever week that was, a while ago. And then the other two losses they had, I think, were either really close or kind of in normal losses, kind of fluffs, I guess. And yeah, I think the Colts will put up a good fight. But this is a home game, and I believe they're going to be allowing some fans into the game, so that might play into the Bill. Yeah, I think they were working to allow fans in, so I'll take the Bills.
All right, Joe, who you got?
Yeah, I got the Bills too. I think the Colts defense is going to be tough, but Josh Allen, man, he's built different.
Yeah.
He's just built different. And they got other weapons too, like Stephon Diggs. Even Cole Beasley's been doing really well. He's a nice little, if they need a 7-yard or 8-yard.
Yeah, nice. He kind of reminds me of Danny Amendola a little bit. A little slot guy.
He's a better version of Danny Amendola.
Better version.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can see that.
Amendola hasn't done much.
Much. Yeah, not recently. And Beasley's getting up there in age. He's been in the league. He was with the Cowboys for a long time.
Yeah, he was with Dallas.
Yeah. I'm with you guys. I got the Bills. Just, like you said, Josh Allen, Phil Rivers. I mean, he's been having a great season as a Colt in his first year here. But I think the Bills have a pretty good defense, and it's going to be an easy Bills win, especially with Stephon Diggs. He's just been going crazy. I mean, no one can guard him. No one can cover him. So I got the Bills as well. Next up, we have the Seahawks hosting the Rams at Lumen Field in Seattle. I believe this is a 4:00 game today. Seattle is favored by 3. So what do you got, Ryan? Who do you have here?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that the spread, because I think that's about where I would put it, honestly. I think this is going to be a really tight game, but I do think the Seahawks will pull it out due to their experience and Russell Wilson leading the helm. I think they pull it out in a close game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got the Seahawks as well. I know the Rams, they beat the Seahawks earlier during the season, but I think just with Russell Wilson's leadership, I don't think they're going to stop him. I don't think Russell Wilson is going to lose this game, pretty much. There's no way.
Yeah, I agree with both. Yeah, I agree with both you guys. Jared Goff has been pretty shaky as of recent. And I don't know what's going on with him, but the Rams do have a good defense, I think. But, I mean, Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, I think it's just going to be too much for the Rams. And you got Pete Carroll, at the helm there in Seattle. He's not going to lose this game. They've had such a great year. And definitely Seahawks. I'm going to take the Seahawks to cover that spread. I think they're going to win by a touchdown and a field goal, maybe 7-10 points. I got them. So I got the Seahawks there. Our final game of the night. Look at this, guys. A 7-9 team hosting an 11-5 team. Crazy. We got the football team hosting Tom Brady and the Bucks. Bucks, however, are an 8-point favorite. Schaefer, who do you got?
Yeah, this one, this might be the game that I'm most excited for today, honestly.
I agree.
I think it's going to be closer than Vegas seems to think. I know he obviously got Tom Brady, but he's in a new team and a new system. Doesn't have the home field advantage that you have in New England that he has had year over year. I think Alex Smith, I should say, is playing with a huge chip on his shoulder as well, looking to prove something. Great storyline, as everyone knows. Potentially, we'll see if he's around next year too. So this could be his last run. Who knows? So I think he goes all in. So I think it'll be close, but I'll take the Bucks, I think, in a close one.
Joe?
Just because of Tom Brady's experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Bucks too, but I do think it's going to be a competitive game. I'm not going to sleep on Washington because I know Tampa Bay, they have some shaky games this season. They lost to Chicago earlier in the year, and then they really came close to losing to New York. I think it was on a Monday night.
Mm-hmm. That was a good game.
But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a really good game. But yeah, Tom Brady's going to win it.
Yeah. Man, I just like this story out of Washington. I mean, the NFC East has just been atrocious this year, as everyone knows. But you got, the comeback of Alex Smith. You have Ron Rivera, who just beat a cancer. So that,
Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, Gibson. I mean, all those guys on that team. I hope the football team wins. I'm just going to say it. I think they're going to win. That's my upset of the day. Tom Brady and Bruce Arians are not on the same page. They never have been. Maybe preseason they were, but they just haven't been, I don't think, for most of the season. And you have Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator for the Bucs, who I think him and Brady have a good relationship. But I think it all depends on how well Washington's offense plays, because if they score points, it doesn't matter if, you know, they have to score points to win this game, okay? Bucks have a way better offense, but if the Bucks can beat, or if the football team can beat the Bucks defense, if they could just hang with them and make it a close game, I think Bruce Arians versus Rod Rivera. I'm gonna take Rivera. Better coaching, a better coach in this situation. So I got the football team. That's my upset of the day. Alex Smith, hope he does well, and hope he stays healthy. Ryan and I were watching that 30 for 30 on his leg, man. That was gross.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know how he's back.
I mean, it's unfathomable that he is playing at an NFL starting level after what he's gone through. I mean, unbelievable. So, insane. I mean, some might even say crazy, which you might even put me in that camp, honestly, with as long as he's played. And what does he have left to prove?
Like, why? Yeah.
You don't get to the NFL by saying, okay, that's enough. I mean, these guys, all they know how to do is compete. So I guess that makes sense.
They're built different. They're not built.
Yeah, it's insane.
Truly.
I don't know. Hopefully, I'm cheering for the football team tonight. I'm not betting on it, but I'm cheering. Tomorrow's games. First game of the day, we have the division winners of the, what is that, AFC South, right? I think South Division, the Titans. 11-5 against the Baltimore Ravens, who have the same record at 11-5. Even though the Ravens, excuse me, are a wild card team, they're favored. This game is going to be in Nashville at Nissan Stadium. Like I just said, the Baltimore Ravens are favored by 3 points. What do you got, Ryan?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take the Ravens. Obviously, we haven't seen Lamar Jackson pull off a playoff win yet, but I think that's just going to motivate him. I mean, we've seen him dominate game after game in the regular season, and I think he figures it out this time. I mean, he's got to have a huge chip on his shoulder. I was watching SportsCenter yesterday, and Stephen A. Smith was going in on how he had not proved himself in the playoffs yet when he's a third-year quarterback, I believe, who has outplayed any expectations. So I think he's been unfairly criticized. Hopefully he doesn't have to take any bathroom breaks this game. But, I think he goes into beast mode and takes control of the game.
Yeah. Okay. Schaefer's got the Ravens. How about you, Joe?
Yep, I got the Ravens as well. It was pretty tough for Lamar last year because he was an MVP. He was expected to do so much. And really, I mean, he was a second-year quarterback. I don't know why you can't be putting so much on the guy. I mean, they're not all going to be perfect, but it was still tough to see an MVP just get bounced like he did last year. And I think he's ready to I think he's taking all that out tonight. I think they're going to – not tonight. They play tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow, first game, 1 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, no. I think Lamar's going to find a way to pull it out.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to disagree with all of you guys. I got the Titans in this one. Titans showed me a lot in the postseason last year. They went into New England when fans were allowed. You know, that place is crazy come playoff time. And they showed up. And they were a huge underdog in that game. And they just cared. You know, they lost the next game. What, Chiefs, right? They play the Chiefs, I think, after the Patriots last year. But
yeah, they were up by a ways too, I think.
Yeah.
They had a big lead. Yeah.
So, I mean, they're just carrying in all the success they had last season in the playoffs to this year. It clearly shows. Their offense, Derrick Henry, man, he's a tank. If he runs, I say to win this game, he's got to run for 220, but I have full faith that he could do that. I mean, he's been going crazy all year. I got my Titans to the bowl here. I'm a Lions fan, but Corey Davis and the boys, man. hey, I have them as a sleeper, and I could see them going a long way in the playoffs. But it all starts with tomorrow. They got to win that first game. But I got the Titans. Next up, what's going on there? A little spinaroo. the mid-afternoon game, we have the Saints against the Chicago Bears, who I don't know how the hell they got in the playoffs. But
Yeah,
they did.
I did not. I was today years old when I found that out.
I don't know what's going on with that. They had to have some scenarios happen last week for them to get in the playoffs, and I guess every single one of them hit. So
Yeah.
we got 2 NFC North teams in the playoffs. Packers obviously have a bye, but dude, are you kidding me? This team started what 5-0, 4-0, and it's been pretty downhill since then. But Ryan, who you got here? Saints Bears. Spread's 10.
Yeah, this one's a no-brainer for me. I mean, I think the Saints take care of business, no problem. The Bears just have been wildly inconsistent, like you mentioned. I mean, they lost to the Lions in Week 14, I think it was, maybe.
Yeah.
After they fired Patricia. You got Drew Brees at the helm in New Orleans. He's been through this a million times. They got Alvin Kamara. I believe he's playing. I haven't seen anything that has said the contrary. So they take care of business and kind of show the world that the NFL made a mistake by putting the Bears in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, the Saints are going to cover this spread easily. I think they're going to win by like 20.
I'm with you,
It's
Joe.
supposed to be a blowout. I don't think Bears stand a sliver of a chance because there's no way in God's green earth that you're going to tell me Mitch Trubisky will have a good game against that defense. There's no way.
Cam Jordan's about to have a field day, man.
It could be. I would not even be surprised if this is a shutout.
Wow.
I'll put it that way.
A shutout. Well, I'm with you guys.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I got Saints here. It's no brainer. This is ridiculous. This is a laughable game. If the Bears win this game, I don't know what I'm going to do, man.
Them win now.
Dude, I don't know if they win this game. I'm going to be like, well, what's going on in this world? It's 2021 now, so hopefully it gets better. But the Bears win this game, man. I don't know.
It was a rigged playoff game.
Yeah. Then our final game of the weekend. This is going to be a good one. They've already played twice this season. We got the Browns, who, God, I don't know when the last time they've been in the playoffs. I think it was 2003 or something like that, I want to say. And then the Steelers. It's going to be in Pittsburgh at Heinz Field. Pittsburgh is favored by 6 points, and Big Ben is back under center. Some breaking news this week is that head coach Stefanski for the Browns is not going to be able to coach this game due to COVID protocols. So what do we got here, boys? I mean, it's a rivalry game. I'd say this is a rivalry game. Anything can happen. What do you got, Ryan?
Yeah, I guess quick question. The Steelers beat the Browns twice, right? Both games? Or did they split? I'm struggling to remember.
I think they beat them both because they beat them with Rudolph
I think
too, right?
I think they swept them. So I guess that was just a quick question, but I'm actually going to take the Browns.
Wow.
First off, I think it's tough to beat the same team 3 times in a season, just any matchup. And then if you've paid attention to the Steelers the past 4 or 5 weeks, they have not looked very good. I mean, they were 11, 12-0, I think, and I think they were 11-0 and then started losing. Yeah. So they have not been playing well lately, especially Big Ben. He's been struggling a lot. His age was showing a little bit. Obviously, you have the coaching issue in Cleveland. But I don't know, that might present an opportunity for Baker to kind of take over the game flow and kind of really just kind of lead the ship from the field. And I think that could be exciting to watch. And I mean, he's a natural leader. So I think the Browns squeak it out.
Yeah, I'm going to go a different way. I got the Steelers. Both teams, to me, really aren't proven that much. I know the Browns beat Tennessee, I think that's about it. And the Steelers, I mean, they beat the Browns, but
Yeah.
other
Twice.
than that, I think both teams are pretty overrated. But I'm going to say Steelers here because based off of also Big Ben's experience, he's been here, and I think they do got weapons at the receiver side.
Yeah.
No, I got Steelers in this one.
Yeah. I'm with you, Joe, just because this was a hard pick for me because the Steelers really have been struggling recently, and the Browns are I think the Browns are I don't know, like they're finding their way late in the season. Even though they have some tough losses, they're playing pretty well. Um, but I just have the Steelers just on the sole fact that playoff experience. I mean, the Browns haven't been there in forever. Big Ben and the boys, Mike Tomlin. I mean, I think he's a top 5 coach in the NFL, top 3 maybe. Um,
Yeah.
so I also have the Steelers in that one. So and 6 points, I'm going to say I think it's going to be a field goal game. I'm going to say they're not going to cover that 6 points. But that wraps it up for the first week of playoffs for the NFL. And then our last segment of the show, we have our favorite Detroit sports memory, but there is a twist on it. You had to be there for it. So we have our favorite Detroit sports memory in person. Ryan, what do you got?
Yeah, so I know we touched on this a little bit before the show, and I actually got to correct myself, but I'll go with 2012 ALCS Tigers game against the Yankees, Game 2. And to remind everyone, that was when they actually swept the Yankees and were out to a sweeping of the Tigers in the World Series against the Giants. But I was looking at the stats, the final score, just to jog my memory before this, and Anibal Sanchez pitched a shutout that game, 3-0 Tigers. And it was actually kind of a weird start time because it was like a Tuesday evening, I believe, but 4:08 first pitch. So kind of a late afternoon, early evening October game. But that was just the most energy that I've ever seen at a Detroit sporting event that I've been at.
Nice.
And it was nice to see a team actually win in the playoffs when I go to it because I've been to a few Red Wings playoff losses. So, that was just all around a good time. And I hate the Yankees, so that just added the cherry on top.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
did you get to skip school? Did you get pulled out early for it since that weird time?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think we might have been able to get out of school at like 2:30 and zip down there, so maybe not.
Nice.
But
Okay.
yeah, I don't remember why the start time was that, but kind of interesting.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. That's weird. That's a weird start time. All right. How about you, Joe?
I'm gonna go with it was the year after Verlander's MVP season. What was that? 20
20. Would that have been
something?
13?
I think 11 maybe.
11,
11,
yeah, I think it was 11. But it was the next season. I went to a game in Pittsburgh,
Oh.
and he had a no hitter going into the ninth inning with like 1 out, and he gave up a hit, but it was just like the crowd was nuts. There were MVP chants going everywhere. Like it was
In Pittsburgh.
No, it was in Detroit.
Oh, in Detroit. Okay.
Yeah, and then and then you know what? Actually, I'm gonna say another one. It was I went to Toronto. I stayed in like the hotel in the Blue Jay Stadium, and I was watching it from my hotel. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I've been to a Toronto game, but I wasn't in the hotel. I was just on. God, what was it? The first base line. That's a pretty cool stadium. I mean, it's not a normal stadium or not like a classic stadium, but it's all turf and there's you see blue everywhere. Everything's blue seats, blue walls, everything. So that's a pretty cool stadium right in the heart of Toronto there. I'm gonna say my favorite sports memory in Detroit in person, one of them, I guess, is when we went to Ryan and I went to the Ben Wallace retirement ceremony the jersey, when they take it up to the rafters, the retirement ceremony. And we were standing, our seats were right by the tunnel where he came out. So I think Ryan and I think we got some fives on him, actually. I think we high-fived
Yeah, we might
him,
have.
wrote him up a little bit. But that game was against the Warriors, and that was the Warriors season when they went, let's see if my math's right here, 73-9. Is that right? 82 games?
Yep.
Yeah, 73-9. And the Pistons came out. It was sold out. The place was sold out. It was packed. And, that was when the Splash Brothers, were they, like Steph and Clay were healthy. Everyone was playing. And we beat them. Pistons came up on top. And we were one of those 9 losses in their historic season. And, the Palace was rocking. Rip the Palace.
Friday night, too.
Yeah, Friday night, man. That was a good place to be on a Friday night, in February, I think the game was. So there we have it, our favorite Detroit sports memories in person. That is going to do it for this week's show. Stay tuned. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week. Thanks, everybody.